person literally just appeared. It's as if they blinked and the person was there. And this person was this older lady in a white nightgown. They couldn't see the person's face. The person's face was like...
It's always a lady with a white, but never can I see your face. Like, no face, no case, these ghosts be doing. If I see a lady in a white gown that appear randomly, she ain't real. What's going on? It's your girl, Maze, reporting live from the gutter. Back at it with another spooky, back at it with another reaction video. Today, I'm going to be watching scary TikTok story times. We're going to see if these stories really are scary, and we're going to see if they add up. So before I get into it, y'all go subscribe.
Do not listen to this scary story at nighttime or right before you're going to bed. Because I love you so much, I'm giving you this warning because what the fuck? So typically I listen to a lot of Spanish scary stories because I like translating them for you guys. I typically listen to these when my husband's asleep next to me and I'm just like scrolling story through story, right? I will say when I listened to this story, I got full body chills, right? But I was like, okay, cool, I'm saving this. This is gonna be a good ass story, and I just kept going. A lot of
I'm like, it gotta be good because I'm just like, it's nighttime right now and I'm listening to this scary story. Girl, it better scare me. That's all I'm gonna say. It better scare me.
Times you guys ask me in my comments like, how do you sleep after reading all these stories? And I'm gonna be honest, I sleep perfectly well. Like, typically I'm not scared, and I wasn't scared last night, which is why it's so weird that I had a dream about this fucking story. I guess this story really impacted me more than I thought. So I'm gonna translate the story for you guys, and then I'm gonna tell you the dream that I had at the very end. So there was this girl, she was around 15 or 16 years old, and she lived with her mom. Unfortunately, her mom lost her job and they had no money, so they ended up losing their house as well. So one of the mom's family members tells them that they have a house that they can live in because they didn't want them to be homeless, but unfortunately this house was like away from civilization.
Right.
This house was in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by like hills and mountains, but since the mom and daughter had nowhere else to go, they accepted the offer and decided to go live in this house. They end up going to the house, and when they get there, they notice the strangest thing ever. Right in front of the door is this big ass tree. Like, the tree was so big that when they would try to open the front door, it would be hitting that tree. So the mom thought it was really strange that the tree would be like right in front of the front door. So the people who actually gave them a ride to that house noticed the tree as well, and they told the mom that if she wanted to, they can also help her remove that tree so that it doesn't stop the front door from opening. And she agreed, so they decided to do it then and there. When they removed that tree, on the roots of like where the tree was growing, they see like a skeleton of a baby. The mom says that it looked like maybe someone had buried the baby a very long time ago because the bones of the baby skeleton were just being eaten by the roots of that tree. She said that they didn't end up telling anybody about it. She just, you know, had the tree removed, they saw that, and they just like moved on with their lives. Time passes, and in this house, it's a 2-bedroom home.
It probably was a witch that lived in the house. It probably was a sacrifice. It was something like a baby under a tree. All you can do is move the baby from the tree, the skeleton bones from the tree. It's something.
It's a little small, but it does have a hallway that leads to both of the rooms. Both the mom and the daughter start hearing noises in the hallway, and they realize that it sounds like a little baby. She even said it doesn't sound like an animal, it didn't sound like a kid. There was no like steps walking. It sounded like a baby playing in the hallway. So the mom almost felt guilty because she felt like something had happened there. I mean, they found the baby bones, and she just felt really bad that maybe the baby ghost was there. So she started leaving out baby toys in the hallway. I already have chills.
Baby toys, she gonna come across an Annabelle, I feel like it. You never know with these type of spirits. Like, spirits, they get attached to stuff.
After leaving the toys in the hallway, the mom says that they would then start hearing this baby playing with those specific toys that were left out for it. She mentions that nothing scary would happen, but she did feel that over time, the baby's energy was growing and growing. So one day, the mom and daughter get into a really big fight. And I mean, they were screaming at each other, like they were going at it. And the daughter ends up going to her room and like slamming the door. And mom also goes to her room and slams the door. So when the mom goes into her room, slams the door, and sits alone, she realizes that maybe she was a little tough on her daughter. Mom felt so bad and so guilty that she's like, I'm gonna go to her room and I'm gonna, apologize and let's try to talk through it. So the mom goes and she knocks on her daughter's door. And of course the daughter didn't answer because she was pissed. After the daughter not answering her door, the mom still decided to open the door, and she starts off with, look, I really need to talk to you. And then she stays silent. The daughter was laying on her bed and she was like, what? That's when the mom was like, get up and come with me. And the daughter's like, what? And the mom's like, get up and come with me. The daughter's like, I thought you wanted to talk to me. And she goes, shut up, get up and come with me. So once the daughter realizes that something is going on because the mom was really seriously telling her to get up, she gets up. Her mom grabs her by the hand, they leave her bedroom, close her bedroom door, and the mom takes her back to her own room. So the mom explains that when she opened her daughter's door and told her, I need to talk to you, she looks at her daughter that's laying on the bed and she sees a baby on top of her daughter's chest.
Wow.
She says that the baby was not a normal baby. When the mom was telling her daughter, get up and come with me, that baby would hold on to her daughter even tighter, looking at the mom and smiling at her. Oh my God, look at her. I think the reason why I imagine these stories in my head, so I'm seeing this shit like a movie.
Just imagine you seeing an evil ass baby. I was like, well, the only thing I can describe the baby is like them little dolls you go to the Spirit Halloween store. Them evil Spirit Halloween babies. That would be on her chest. Just imagine that on her chest. And you see that. Yeah, get up. Just girl, get up. There ain't no questions asked. Get up.
My brain, can you imagine? She walked in there feeling so guilty that she got into a fight with her mom, tries to talk to her, and fucking sees a baby on her daughter's chest as she's telling her, get up and let's go. Baby hugs her daughter tighter while looking at her smiling. They left that house that night and never looked back, didn't go back to investigate, didn't want to know what the fuck happened there, because at that point it wasn't just a little innocent baby ghost, because demonic. She saw a baby, but it was not a normal looking baby. No.
It's time for another spooky story in bed, and this one gave me goosebumps twice, so buckle up. My oldest daughter is 13 now. The story starts back when she was 1 and 2. We moved into a new house. Night 1, weird stuff started happening. Right. The first night here,
you know what? It always starts with the kids. The kids are the ones that see like the spirits. Like it always starts off like that.
She was still in her crib, and she woke up screaming and crying. I ran into her room, and she was standing in her crib, pointing at her dresser, screaming, bad man, bad man. Ugh. Her dresser had a giant mirror attached to it. I just assumed that she had seen her own reflection, or that maybe it was normal to freak out her first night in a new house. She refused to go back to sleep in her bed, so I let her sleep with us. This continued almost every single night for a few months. She would wake up screaming, bad man, or he's gonna get baby. She would go to sleep in her room, but always end up in our bed because she would wake up screaming. I would show her that no one was in her room and there was nothing to be afraid of. Until one night she was screaming, bad man hurt baby. She had 3 large scratch marks down her back, bleeding, and a very visible fresh bite mark on her arm. I mean, I could make out each tooth, and we did not have animals. She rarely slept in her bed after that night, but almost every time she would, she'd wake up screaming with a new bite mark or scratches and bruises. We researched the house and didn't find anything or that anyone had died there. Then one night, we were all fast asleep. We both woke up because we felt that someone was sliding into the bed between us from the foot of the bed. We both felt hands sliding up our legs and felt a grown person pushing their way in between us. It physically pushed us both to the side. Then we heard a man's voice. We couldn't make out the words, but agreed that it was a deep man's voice. We ripped the blankets off and turned on the lights, and nothing was there. We checked on my daughter, and she was standing in her bed staring at the mirror, not crying or making a single sound, just staring at the mirror. Freaked us out big time. We took out the mirror and put it outside to be trashed in the morning. Never had anything else creepy happen after we got rid of the mirror. So whatever it was clinging onto that stupid mirror. That's insane. That's literally insane and so sad for her baby. Now remember, these are your stories. There's a link in.
That is crazy because it's just like, dang, like it tried to get the baby but couldn't get the baby. So now is going after y'all since y'all got the baby away from it. As spirits, they like to show themselves to kids. And that would trip me off. I had a kid and my kid told me, like, hey, bad man, like, girl.
People say in their country that they turn people into animals. It's not a myth. Scary story time. I know it's been a little while since I posted a scary story time, but y'all know most of my stories are from my dad, and he's been sick. He was in the hospital for a little bit, but he's back home.
People turning people into animals, that's some crazy stuff. That's crazy.
Now he feels a little better, and he gave me this story for y'all. So this story is also from when he was like really young. I want to say like in his teenage years, right? So he used to go to his grandma's house all the time on his father's side. And if you saw the story with the prank that he did on the guy, that's the house where he was at, his grandma's house. And there was two neighbors that was like his best friends. One's name was Jean-Jean, and the other's name was Jean Raymond. But for the sake of the story, we're gonna call him JR. So basically how it was set up was there was JR's house, Jean-Jean's house, and my dad's grandma's house. But they would all usually hang out at JR's house. But they had a really bad habit of hanging out like late night on the porch. Just like talking and...
I'm telling you, she talking about late night on the porch. You know what? We be kicking it on the porch. That's what we be doing.
Joking and stuff like that. Even though they know they're not supposed to be out there that late, but you know, hard-headed teenage boys. Anyway, so one night they were sitting on the porch as usual, just hanging out. And as they're hanging out, somebody just appeared. And the way that my dad explained it to me was there's no way that that person could have walked up and they did not notice because they are on the porch. They're looking at the street. This person literally just appeared. It's as if they blinked and the person was there. And this person was this older lady in a white nightgown. They couldn't see the person's face. The person's face was like shadowy.
It's never a lady. It's always a lady with a white, but never can I see your face. Like, no face, no case. These ghosts be doing, but it's always a lady in a white gown. Like, if I see a lady in a white gown that appear randomly, she ain't real. She is not real.
Like a black figure. They couldn't make out the person's face, but they could make out that she was wearing an all-white nightgown and that her hair was all over the place as if she was electrified. And the only reason why they knew it was an older lady was by her voice, because she spoke to them. So she appears and they're like frozen. They're looking at her and they're frozen. And she goes, "Hey boys, what are you guys doing out here this late?" And they're like frozen, terrified.
Hey,
they're all, and the way my dad said it was as if it was a choir. They all kept responding all together at the same time. So she goes, "Hey boys, what are you guys doing out here this late?" And they go, "Oh, we're just hanging out." And she responds with, "You boys know you're not supposed to be out here this late, especially not at this time." So they are terrified. They're talking to somebody who they cannot see the face, and they know that that's not a real person. So they go, "Oh, we were just going inside. We're just gonna go inside right now." And she responds with, "You boys better be careful. You should know better." At that point, they all started to get up and try to go inside. But just like she appeared, she disappeared just like that, in the blink of an eye. My dad said it was as quick as a blink because they did not take their eyes off of her. She disappeared. And as he's telling me the story, he goes, "Bro, your followers are not gonna believe this." And as he's telling me the story, it's like he's reliving it. Like he's in disbelief yet again. So the moment she disappears, they all make a run for it. JR goes inside his house. Jean-Jean runs for his house, which was not too far from JR's house, but my dad's house was the last house. So y'all know what he did? He didn't go home. He went into Jean-Jean's house. If y'all know my dad or me, like the way we were raised, we don't like sleeping over at people's houses. Like, we would much rather be home. But my dad said that night, he didn't care about none of that. He went straight to Jean-Jean's house and he stayed there overnight. When people say in their country,
I'm like, he was going to somebody's house, but he wasn't finna be alone that night. I wouldn't have been alone either. Like, I'm going to somebody's house.